How's it going, sports gamers? And welcome to episode 14, the one and only episode 14 of the SGO Press Pass. Mike Straw, managing editor of Sports Gamers Online, here with you as always. To my left, that way.
You got it. You got it right the first time. I can't.
One and only.
I can't figure this one out. You got it. You had it right away. I cannot figure that one out.
It's the one and only Jake Jacobson, lead writer at SGO. Jake, how are you doing on this fine Wednesday?
I'm so sweaty.
That hot?
It's so humid, and I don't have an AC unit. We don't have central air in this building. In the building I moved into, I don't have an AC yet. And I'm putting it off because I'm trying to save money. But what that means is that like I'm just sweaty. I'm just sweaty. I'm just so sweaty.
Just a sweaty man.
Yeah, I'm less sweaty now because I intentionally unsweated for the podcast because I care about y'all, the viewers. Not that it affects you in any way, I guess, but like, you know, it's the respect, it's the thought. So
definitely. And speaking of the viewers, actually, before we get into it, we are the SGO Press Pass, brought to you by SGO Insider, here live on StreamYard. Start your own live streams today at StreamYard.com. Join SGO Insider for as little as $1 a month. That's less than a cup of coffee, unless you go to McDonald's where every size is $1. So for the cost of one single McDonald's coffee, you can support SGO, help us grow the network, get insight and exclusive news and information that you won't find anywhere else. We usually break that news and give it to you guys on the insider-only channels on our Discord, which is open to everybody. You can sign up for SGO Insider, sportsgamersonline.com/insider, and join our open Discord and join the SGO community at sportsgamersonline.com/Discord. So today's topic, before we get into what we're playing, we decided to make up for the fact that the last two episodes we haven't had a lot of Q&A time for the last two episodes. So this week, it's an Ask Us Anything episode. No matter what you want to ask us, whether it's about sports games, gaming in general, music, movies, television, why I'm bald and what caused it. It doesn't matter. Why I'm wearing a shirt made out with leaf design.
I own that shirt. Do you know that?
Target, baby.
We could have matched today. I feel like we should have matched today.
I wish we did, and
I didn't even notice that's what that shirt was until you pointed it out.
And it's so great. That makes me so happy now, because one of these episodes we will coordinate and we will match, and everybody will make fun of us.
I'll just wear it on another time, and we'll never know. They'll think we traded shirts.
That's exactly.
It's a real sisterhood of the traveling pants situation. Mike sends me the blue shirt, and then I wear it for a show, and then I mail it back to Mike, and he wears it for a shirt.
Before we get into what are we playing, we have a super chat right off the bat. And super chats are the best way to help us. Leave us a super chat, get your question or comment, no matter what it is, read on the air. We will make sure we find time for it. Northeast Ohio Rail Fan Productions. Will NHL 22 be available on the PS4? Yes, it will be. Hello, Logan. But yes, 100%. It will be available on last-gen platforms. EA will not alienate its fan base that way, especially with less people having it. But before we get into the rest of the Q&A, and if you want to interrupt what we're doing, leave a super chat, and we will stop what we're doing and answer that right away. Jake, what are you playing this week?
So I have gotten the fans have been wondering what happened to the KO City update. So I'm here with the KO City update. Knockout City is a dodgeball game that EA publishes. It's developed by someone who cares more about the game than EA would. I should know the name and I don't. But season 2 of Knockout City just started, which is called Fight at the Movies. And adds a new stage, which is super cool. Actually, it's like a movie set, but the middle turns into different things. So like one of them is like this big castle. One of them is like a huge bedroom. It's all this cool, all these cool different transforming level. It's very neat. And then there's a new ball that blinds people when it explodes. And that game's still fun. I'm still having a good time with it. They added a new mode, a new like elimination mode, where they added CSGO mode, which they add to every game eventually, which is just like it's elimination. And then as soon as you wipe the entire team, you get a point and then they respawn. And that mode's pretty fun. But yeah, I've been playing that, and I've been playing Pokemon Unite.
I don't like it.
You don't like it? I've been having a good time
like
with it. Pokemon Unite is a MOBA. Which is League of Legends. If you don't know what a MOBA is, but it's less like League of Legends and more like Heroes of the Storm, which is to say, you are not really individually punished for doing poorly. It's much more of a team-based effort. You score points instead of like destroying towers, basically. Like the end game isn't to destroy your opponent's HQ, it's to score more points than the opponent does. And it's easy, it's accessible. I can play it it's on the Switch. So like I don't have to worry about trying to play a MOBA on my keyboard, which just hurts my wrists really bad.
Yeah.
But no, I've been enjoying it. I haven't gotten to the part where it costs like $60 to fully level up an item, and I don't think I'm ever going to get that into the game. But I've been having a good time with it.
Never.
Like, well, I've got other games I can spend $60 on. I don't need to do it to this Pokemon MOBA. So.
True.
So, but yeah, so that's what I've been getting up to a little bit. Mike, what have you been up to? What have you been playing?
A lot of Golftopia. A lot. Like, some might say as a father of two, an unhealthy amount of it. Some, not me.
Right, yeah. Nobody on the podcast is saying that for sure.
And nobody in the chat, because if they do,
yeah, no, we won't do anything.
Coming for you.
Don't worry about it.
I'm not going to do a thing at all. I've been playing a lot of that because of the fact it really is as if Sim Golf got it again.
Yeah,
of
course.
But
you're not earning them now, though.
No, that one was just like I've been playing the game, and it's as if Sim Golf went over the top. Like my only gripe with Golftopia is that I can't just make like a typical country club type of thing like you could in Sim Golf and that type of stuff. Like it is a bit over the top. I enjoy it. But sometimes I just want to literally just have that simple golf country club type experience.
Can you give me a brief description of what Golftopia is, just in case I don't know, because I don't know 100%.
Well, it's from MinMax Games.
Pretend.
Yes. And it allows you to design, plan, build, and manage a golf course from the ground up. You place every little hole, every building, every tee box, every green, every bunker, everything. You're building your own golf courses, and you're trying to make as much money as possible. There are mods in the game, not that you download, but little what does Rocket League call them? They're modifiers. They're in-game modifiers that the goal of the game is to make your customers as unhappy as possible. And that's how you find success. So you just do a bunch of stuff to bug them and piss them off.
Okay.
And they have all these different modifiers and like limited money, and the golf country club is free and you can only make money on X, Y, and Z. There's a lot of those things to add to it. I do enjoy it. It's Sim Golf on steroids. Just it's less than what if you want a pure Sim Golf successor, it's not going to be that. But that doesn't mean I'm not enjoying the hell out of it.
Right. Yeah.
Because I absolutely am. Other than that, it's Retromania. Because it's Retromania. It's literally a pick up and play. Tomorrow at my 9 to 5, we are all bringing in our Switches and we are having a Smash Brothers tournament at work.
Oh, word.
The benefit of
playing
Rob all day.
Okay.
Rob, I'm a troll with. You know how the old N64 Smash, you'd take Donkey Kong, you'd walk off the edge, and that would just be what people do. I do that with Rob. except it's much more satisfying because no one can play as Rob, but I've always played as Rob in Ultimate.
Sure. Okay.
And it's fun and enjoyable. So this is what we're doing. 4 or 5 developers are going to spend 2 hours of a lunch break, a 2-hour lunch break.
Lunch break. Okay.
And play Super Smash Brothers Ultimate or some Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. We don't know yet, but we're going to do maybe some Jackbox Party. But we don't know yet. We're going to have some fun bringing in our Switcholies.
You're going to do the commercials. You're going to do the commercials in real life.
Yeah, except we're not going to play it on the table.
You got to go on the roof.
Put it on
you got to go on the roof.
I don't think we work right next to the Buffalo Niagara International Airport, and I don't think they'd like that too much.
What are they going to do? Make loud noises? I don't get it.
They're going to fly over. We're going to fall off. We're going to also, in a bit of good news before we get into the questions, because we got a lot of them. I finally finished my office downstairs. So next week I should be in the new digs, which makes me very excited to be out of this hellhole sauna of an office right now. So I feel your pain on the heat thing. And I'm just, especially because I got spotlights. I got 2 spotlights on me and it's just brutal. But that's what I'm doing. And before we get into the questions, I do want to give a thank you to our SGO insiders who, without you guys, this show is impossible. You guys are helping produce the show with your support. Quan Edwards, Maynard Ross, Robert Green, Tyler Sambo, Zach K, Anthony Rodriguez, Adam, Colin Jackson, EJ Evans, Julian, Gaming Granny, Kenneth Macklin, and Mike Knox.
Damn, we got the Gaming Granny on the Patreon?
We have the Gaming Granny on the Patreon, and I am super excited about it. So if you want to be an SGO producer for our SGO Press Pass podcast, all you got to do is sign up for SGO Insider at sportsgamersonline.com/insider. One thing you can do if you don't want to spend the money, and that's perfectly fine, like this video and share it and leave a comment because that helps YouTube know that we matter. And obviously, Jake and I do matter. We matter more than, we're people too.
Well, okay.
Ugly people, but we're people too. Okay.
Anyway.
So let's move on to the fun part. Ask us anything. Whatever you want to know. If you're watching on Twitch, you're watching on Facebook, YouTube, or starting this week, Twitter, whatever you want to know. We have questions. We're going to go through the chat. We have a couple from Twitter. Jake, do you want to kick that off? And then we'll get into the questions from the chat.
We've gotten a lot of questions about NHL 22. Do you just want to address NHL 22 right now and kind of cover that, kind of lay out that blanket, and then we can move on to the rest of the AMA? Because I feel like we're going to have to do that at some point. Okay.
Guys, one thing to say, if you can clip this, if you're watching this on YouTube, because there will be people I know coming in like a half hour going, NHL 22, clip it starting at 15:55 and on the timestamp, or timestamp it in the comments, 15:55 in the comment section, and help us out so we can just point them to that. NHL 22. A lot of people were expecting it, including myself, to hear and see something during the expansion draft. I hit my microphone. During the expansion draft, NHL draft last week, or even EA Play. Ultimately, that didn't happen. EA wasn't happy with the quality of the presentation. They didn't feel like they were going to get enough time with all the focus on Madden and the scouting update, EA Vancouver, and the hypermotion technology. They kind of felt like the news with NHL was going to be lost in the shuffle. So they wanted to save it for their own day, their own time, basically. The game is going to Frostbite, guys. Everything I've been told, everything I've seen, everything from EA employees accidentally posting it when they shouldn't have, points to it being on Frostbite. I don't know if that means the PS4 and Xbox One version will be on Frostbite, or just the next gen version will be on Frostbite and the last gen will remain on Ignite. That I don't know. But I do know what I was told when I texted an EA employee about what the deal is. Is this game going to be delayed? What's going on? Now, mind you, last year we didn't get our first information until around August 26th because of the pandemic and situation going on with that and it being delayed. But also they just wanted to push things out because of everything. There's a good chance we don't get it until then as well. They kind of have that lull in the off season and they're like, hey, let's get people talking about hockey again, and boom. But what I was told was that, quote, soon and worth it were the 3 words or 4 words I was given in the text message from the employee up at EA Vancouver. That's really all that I know right now. What I'm standing by what I'm reporting about the Frostbite engine and things of that nature, but soon and worth it is what I've been told. And I want to say they're trying to put their best foot forward to show, hey, the game's going to look and play different, because it has to. It really has to this year. Otherwise, they are going down a slippery slope. So that's where we're at with NHL 22. Now, I guarantee we're going to get more questions. But again, point them to 1550, timestamp it.
right.
And they can go and watch it and get the answer there. So now let's go on to Twitter, and then we'll go through the chat. Again, if you want to guarantee your question, I might miss some. If you guarantee it, Super Chat does highlight it. So, like Northeast Ohio Rail Fan Productions graciously gave us at 8:33 p.m. right after we went on the air. That was the quickest one we've ever gotten, and I'm so grateful. Literally, I'm grateful.
Right after the intro, yeah. Because
it pays my staff. Let's put it that way. I like to pay my staff. I don't like to not make sure they have money. I like to make sure they're taken care of as much as a side gig, part-time position can right now, and it all helps. All right. Okay. Questions. We're gonna have some fun.
Yeah, we actually have a couple of pretty interesting questions on Twitter. I've got 2 from at CDRonm, CDRONM. Like they wanted to do a name pun, but they didn't commit to it.
That's amazing.
He asks 2 questions. The first one is, who do you see fully embracing crossplay first, EA or 2K Sports?
EA. The reason I see that or say that is because EA owns Battlefield. They're already working on that with Battlefield. So I could see them with bringing that over into EA Sports a lot sooner than 2K could with NBA 2K, because you got to think 2K, their biggest games are, they own Take-Two Interactive, but from a sports, it's NBA 2K, and who knows when they're going to do that. They don't have that this year, that's for sure.
Right.
So I'd say EA is going to be the first one to support it.
In theory, we know... In theory, we know a future FIFA game might be crossplay, right? So,
yeah, we'll get to that. We do have a question on that as well.
We vaguely know it's on their radar, whereas, I feel like 2K is more interested in. I feel like if 2K wanted to do crossplay, they would have done it now. They're clearly interested in the cross progress stuff, but it doesn't seem like they're super interested in the crossplay. And maybe some of this is part of their we don't know what to do with PC, because you see a lot of PC integration that way. That way you're and I guess the real answer is 2K can't go full crossplay until it stops doing a generation split in the games, right? There are literally things that you could not play. You could not cross-play if you play on PS5 versus PC.
We don't know. Look at what Konami's doing with eFootball, and that's going to be a mess.
We'll see, right?
We'll see what happens when the PS5 and Xbox Series X player go against the mobile player. That'll be the biggest test on that one.
Now, games do that. That already exists in games. PUBG has a mobile version
but that's different. That's Fortnite not a AAA.
Fortnite is all cross-play. Right?
Yeah, so but it's art style allows it.
Exists.
Yeah, I'm not saying technology. I'm saying the art style and things like that. Sports fans and sports games are a different breed of of build.
The follow-up question touches on that very briefly. And I'm reading this because I don't think we're going to answer a lot of NBA Live questions, because stop asking us about NBA Live, it's dead. But he says, and again, this is CD Ron M, who says, I feel like a path forward for NBA Live could be to utilize a free to start model like eFootball potentially. What are your thoughts on that? And to be honest with you, at this point in time, I feel like that is the only way that NBA Live gets made is if they do a free to start model for NBA Live.
NBA Live Mobile. It's already there.
NBA Live modal, yeah.
It's already there. That is where EA should focus with NBA Live right now, because the NBA Live Mobile is a good mobile game for those into it. It's free to play. It's responsive. The controls are nice. So yeah, it's that I kind of agree. If it came back as a console, that might be the place they have to start. And I will go. We're gonna get my rant for a minute, because the NBA Live thing, it has nothing to do with everybody asking about NBA Live. It has to do with, I don't know why I take offense to this, but I do. So we have been reporting for the better part of a year now about the status of NBA Live at SGO, about what's going on with it, what they're working on, where the development staff has been placed, where the executive producers are, what they've moved on to, who's been brought in, and who's working on what. And then this week, now in June, we had the story, the major update of the game's dead. They have a skeleton crew working on future NBA titles, and we don't know what's going on with that, but it's years down the line. Big names have been moved to Madden and things like that. And then we get IGN comes out with their article about it, and everybody's like, oh, finally we have an update and all this shit. I get we're not as big as IGN. Okay, I'm not trying to say that. What I am trying to say is I've busted my ass for 10 years in this industry. And when I know we have the story and we work so hard to get it, and we don't get the credit for reporting it first, or because people are like, oh, they know nothing, they're just throwing shit at the wall type of thing and hoping it sticks. I don't know why I let it bother me as much as I do, but I do. All I want is us to go, no, we thought Sports Gamers Online reported that first. Source out who reported it first. Granted, it came from an interview where the CEO of EA or whoever it was like, yeah, we're looking at it and we're working on a future HD version of the game, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, we already reported that months ago. You are muted, good sir. You muted yourself.
Sure, yeah. I was being polite, turns out. I mean, yeah, but like, you know, it's not like they stole our scoop, right? Like they had their own interview and they do their own reporting, and like that's just what news is. So
I know
it's
it's just
the frustration, because we are a smaller and very niche, like, and that is our niche, right? And so like somebody asked about this Axios articles, which I have pulled up.
That's the thing. IGN, it wasn't even their new. It was from the Axios article.
Yeah, I was going to say one of the first things this Axios article says is sports gaming doesn't get much press. So like, you know what I mean? Like we're in such a very specific, like small area that like that kind of thing is going to happen, not because we are being tapped in a pool of smaller people to be like, we're stealing that scoop because we're IGN. It's just like they're doing their own thing. They're setting up interviews every year with EA over NHL, over, you know, Madden. They're setting up these same interviews every year with 2K, and they get these same questions over and over again. So like, you know, yeah, I understand the frustration and I get it.
I hated it when it would happen when I worked at the newspapers. I hated it when it happened when I did work for Bleacher Report. I shouldn't let it bother me, because I'm still getting paid. I'm still making my money. It's just, I want our platform to get the recognition that I know our platform deserves. Like our team here at SGO does such great work on what they do. We have really knowledgeable, in-depth experts. We have people who know many behind the scenes.
Also, I'm here.
Jake's here, and his handsome, devilish self with hair that I'm still jealous of because he has
now
it.
He's handsome.
Yeah, now you're handsome. But I don't know. I need to stop letting it bother me, but it always will. Okay, we're gonna move on, and now we have the chat.
Do you want the rest of Twitter? Because we got one more question on.
Let's go. One more question with Twitter, and then we're gonna focus on the chat.
So, fan of the show, Trey Adkins, actually tweeted a couple questions about WWE 2K22. The first question is, do you see the roster being finalized, or do you think they're still adding superstars? He specifies NXT superstars, and then says he could see like Hit Row being added in either before launch or as DLC. But basically, do you feel like is WWE at a finalized roster at this point in development? Do you think for 2K22? Yes,
their roster is usually finalized by WrestleMania season. Granted, they've had the releases and stuff, and it's going to be funny when you can look at the releases and when you compare who was in WWE 2K20 and won't be in 2K22, you have a full roster of games.
Right.
But yeah, they hit row. Well, we know Isaiah Swerve Scott's going to be in the game because he was part of the roster. And he probably will have his Hit Row theme. I don't know about the rest of Hit Row. I could see them being DLC though. That is. Yeah. I know they're going to focus on DLC, especially because it looks like they're going to try and not become a yearly franchise. They want to. The WWE wants them to. 2K is actually okay with not being a yearly franchise with WWE because wrestling just doesn't need it. Right, even though wrestling is updated so much, you can add characters and update gimmicks a lot easier if you're just focusing on that.
And then he follows that up by asking, do you think more match types will be post-launch DLC since there are only a few on launch? No,
I don't. It's rare that they add anything like that. Usually their DLC is just superstars.
I feel like they usually have
and a story mode.
How often, and this is my lack of watching wrestling in the past 10 years showing, how often are they making up a new match type? In
very rare.
So like
it's more so not making them up, it's putting match types in that haven't been in a while that should be and should have never been taken out. Okay.
The last part of that question, sorry, is just do you foresee any sort of live service being implemented to the game? He says Patrick hinted at a live service.
Yes. I think that is what they're trying to do, and 2K22 will be the test of that. I think maybe by 2023 as a year, not the game, we get to that point. I think this is going to be the test if a live service for wrestling games will work. I know that's what AEW wants their game to be. They want to have a live service where they release a new game every 3 years, kind of what EA Sports does with UFC. They treat it as a live service, right? Fighters get removed and added constantly based on their contracts and things like that.
Yeah.
Fighters' attributes get updated constantly. You may not agree with them, but they constantly get updated. So they're treating that as a live service as far as like content within the game and stuff like that.
And then that's Twitter. So now if you are scrolled up to the top of the chat and you just want to start working your way down, I think we can do that now.
All right, I'm at the top of the chat. If you wanna go through them and read them as I throw them up on the screen.
Yeah, sure. What are your thoughts about NASCAR 21 so far? And we got a couple of these, so we can loop all these together.
Yes, NASCAR 21. Guys, when I say get ready, if you're a NASCAR fan, get ready. I can't say anything like more now. I'm working with Motorsport Games and the NASCAR 21 team on getting some content within the next couple weeks. There's no announcement imminent as far as release date goes. But I'm working with them on getting some stuff. They had a very NASCAR Race Hub yesterday, had an awesome little documentary focusing on the history of NASCAR video games, which was a fun roll down memory lane for myself. And in it, one of the things, and you can read the story at sportsgamersonline.com, in it was the CEO of Motorsport Games playing what appeared to be NASCAR on a Nintendo Switch, which is something players have been asking for the last 4 years. And based on that image alone, it looks like we might be getting it. So my biggest thing is how it runs. Obviously, that's what everybody cares about. How does that game run? Because it's Switch. I mean, think about WWE 2K18 or 2K17. That game was a disaster on the Switch. It should never have been released because of what it had to handle, and the Switch just can't handle it. NBA 2K plays okay. FIFA Legacy Edition, which I would never recommend anybody to get it because it's been the same game 4 straight years, just with a roster update. It plays well, so I'm interested to see how that does. But racing games usually play pretty decent on the Switch and look pretty decent, so we'll see what happens with that. But it looks beautiful. If you've seen the screenshots on Twitter, on my Twitter, on SGO, on sportsgamersonline.com, they look good. They look good. Unreal. The switch from Unity to Unreal is like going from black and white to Oz. You muted yourself again.
That's okay. I swore a lot too. I don't want to jump around, but J.R. Oliver asks VR capable, and I don't know if he's asking specifically about NASCAR.
I don't know. I would not put it. I wouldn't expect it. If you're looking for a VR racing experience, I will tell you, if you have a PC, iRacing is the way to go. Project Cars is a good way to go for that VR experience. But as far as anything else, NASCAR, I wouldn't expect a VR capable experience from that.
Yeah, I feel like you'd have to have a situation where like maybe Sony is reaching out.
It's just not there yet.
Develop something like that, but yeah.
It's not there for the casual gamer, for the average sports game to integrate.
Right. Like really it's in terms of consoles, especially, it's really just Sony VR. And like, you know, how much have we heard about Sony VR? So
yeah, I mean, we got Sony VR 2 coming eventually, but who knows? Who knows what they're going to do with that?
Right.
Guys, if you're just tuning in, this is the SGO Press Pass here on YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, and Facebook /Sports Gamers Online. We're doing a special Ask Us Anything episode. Get your questions in the live chat, and we'll answer as many as we can. If you want to guarantee your question on the air or statement is read, leave us a super chat. Any amount helps us keep these shows going. Leave a like, leave a comment, and subscribe to Sports Gamers Online. Let YouTube know that these shows are worth watching and that you like what you see here. And lastly, big thank you to everyone who is an SGO Insider currently for allowing us to push this show on. Learn more at sportsgamersonline.com/insider. What do we got next, Jake?
I scrolled down and I lost a comment. So apologies if that was your comment, but I think we might still be caught up. I've got a question from Big Mario who is asking about and this might be a troubleshooting question that we don't know the answer to. He wonders how come the college football revamped can't update to the new 2022 roster. And I don't know if that
is something. I mean, they don't have it yet. This is a fan-made thing. Two of their biggest creators and helpers were picked up by EA to work on EA Sports College Football, which great for them. Fantastic. EA actually loves what they're doing. EA knew about it, obviously, because they brought them in. EA loves what they're doing. They have kept that series alive. And actually, I've been sitting on a story that I'm going to drop around the return of college football itself in late August on how college football revamped, which is only a little over a year old, how that came to be and how it's keeping and kept the interest in college football alive. And it's actually played a big role in EA deciding to bring it back. A bigger role than you would assume. I've been sitting on that story for a couple months, and I'm going to drop it right before college football season starts. It's
right after IGN drops it.
Welcome to the solo SGO Press Pass. I don't even care. That's right down the middle.
I'm the left and right brain of Mike Straw, and I'm here to answer your questions.
Christian, real quick. Christian asks anything you can say when we're getting news on NBA 2K22 MyCareer. August. Everything should be out by mid-August. MyCareer, I think, is one of the next things that's coming out. It is going to likely be ratings. They're going to start soon in between, but then we're going to get into the modes. It's not going to be some big thing that like they had with the jump with the W and stuff like that. It's not. It's just not going to be that way. They're doing a lot of fine tuning to make sure the next gen experience is as good as it can be. And last gen, you're stuck with last gen.
Do you want to? We got a series of them from Sports Video Games Daily. The first one of them is one that they've asked again recently in chat, which is the sports video gaming industry transitioning to a free to play model? And I would say probably not. They make too much money not doing that. Yeah.
Not fully, because people will give them the microtransactions and the $60, $70, $80 anyway. Not spending the $70 on the game isn't going to make them more money for microtransactions. Plain and simple, because you're getting that full price from the players who have nothing to do with microtransactions. You're getting that full price. So,
right. The only reason I could think that, because like, if the question is the sports video game industry transitioning, then no, because the only way I think EA does it is if for some reason just one of their big three Ultimate Team games flops and they abandon it. But like as it stands, not only is Ultimate Team both FIFA and Madden, and I'm sure hockey probably does fine. Like, not only are those bringing in billions of dollars on their own, but then also those games are selling better and better every year. So like, there's no reason for EA to ever, I would imagine, shift to a free to play model, even though I would rather them do that if they're going to keep making buco bucks off of Ultimate Team. Does the rest of the industry start doing a Konami and start trying to shift to free to play just as an attempt to circumvent how popular EA games are? I don't know. Depends on how well eFootball does, I guess.
Yep.
But I don't see the sports gaming industry going free to play, even if, like we said earlier, like maybe NBA Live comes back as a free to play. That's the only one I could think of that would do something like that, though. So
agreed. Literally, it's the only one I can think of that might do something like that. Other than that, no.
He asks about the Axios article, which I have pulled up, but like,
it's nothing new that we haven't reported at SGO.
Exactly. To be frank, see, they're coming to arrest us for talking smack.
About just saying, Christian Phillips to start off. Sim Golf. I forgot. I didn't do it. Where's my marker? I didn't mark out today. Sim Golf reference. I'm at 8 straight.
While he's looking over there, basically to outline this Axio article for y'all, it says EA is focusing on expansion. EA wants to get more into mobile games, which is why it's picked up Glue Mobile and Playdemic. But like you said, Mike, these are all things that we have reported on and talked about on the website. So
for months.
My reaction to the Axios article talking to EA Sports executives is yes. He also asks, no, he doesn't ask this. Did we miss? I might have missed a question about, I think the question I might have missed was about, somebody asked about EA college football and if it's going to be weird with all of these, conference shakeups.
Right? Yeah, I don't know what they're going to do. I don't like that. I don't like the idea. I don't like the idea of, as a big college football fan, I don't like the idea of Texas and Oklahoma going to the SEC. The SEC needs to die. It's becoming too big for itself. It's going to be swallowed up whole because, like, at the end of the day, with the college football playoff, not every team is going to make it out of the SEC. They still have the Power 5 conferences. So you leaving to go to the SEC just limits your opportunity to actually make it into the college football playoff. Even if they expand to 12 teams, you're still limiting yourself. So it doesn't make any damn sense.
The thing is, what this is doing is basically creating, like, I have seen propositions for what the SEC looks like if this happens, because it goes to 16 teams, right? It goes to 16 teams if Texas and OU both go. And basically what you're doing is you're creating the Western Conference. Like the thing that I've seen rumored is that they go into pods of 4, like conferences, and they play each team in the pod and then specific teams from other pods. And
I don't
then
like
do a 4-team playoff. And what I'm saying is, like, basically what this does is it changes what college football is, because now not only do you have the college football playoffs, you have the bowl games, but you also have the SEC, which at this point is just becoming its own summer league entirely, right? Like, it doesn't matter if you're like, we get to a point where there is potential that finishing in the top 4 of the SEC, even if that doesn't get you into the college football playoffs, still has more weight than certain bowl games do at that point. Also, I would say, how does this affect EA college football? I would say it proves that conferences are made up. So just let us make up our own conferences anyway. Like, let me do whatever I want with the conferences. They're clearly not real.
Yeah, the Big Ten has more than 10 teams. Big 12 has less than 12.
Well, Big Ten's about to have 16 also. Like, the Big 12 is about to collapse if this happens. Everybody's just going to leave the Big 12 and it's going to be over. Like, just let us make up our own conferences. You know
Just
what I mean?
I got my
just put that in the
Maction,
game.
so at this point, that's all I want. I got my Maction.
The reason I thought of that though is because Sports Games Daily does ask, would you rather play with Texas and Oklahoma or against them in an SEC dynasty?
Against them. Screw Texas, screw Oklahoma. I'm done talking about Texas and Oklahoma. Where there was one on, and it's weird that I can only go back so far on.
Right. So
it
does delete the top ones, but I'm if you stay scrolled up, it doesn't force you to scroll down. So
yeah, but I constantly scroll down. There we go.
Yeah.
You ready?
Yeah.
It's dead.
Why would you do that? Let me see.
MVP baseball not coming back. They're looking to bring back past franchises, but I don't know if MVP is going to be one of them. This is actually one too that I like. Dwayne B. Why is crossplay so rare? This one we could actually spend a couple minutes talking about. I could tell you one big reason. Money. They want a lot of these consoles, mainly with the consoles, right? Because we see crossplay with PC and whatever. PC and Xbox, obviously. PC and everyone with Fortnite. PC and PS4 for some things. Or PlayStation for some things. But these consoles, like Sony...
Yeah, I was going to say,
it's
not these like consoles. It is Sony. It is
Microsoft's more open to it.
Sony, who has this beef with crossplay.
It's kind of like Nintendo's beef with streamers and anybody who uses their game online or just online services in general with Nintendo or third-party games. Sony just doesn't seem to like crossplay. It's Sony. And Sony is a big player. I mean, look at what just happened with the PS5. It hit the 10 million consoles sold. Not shipped to stores, sold. And they're still king in the castle, and until they're on board fully, it's not going to happen.
Right. You're not going to get full crossplay for that exact reason. Like, Sony knows that its player base is always going to be big enough to support whatever game. The only way you're going to get stuff like Fortnite is if the developer is big enough to basically sick its entire fan base on you and get you to walk back your stance on something like that, right? Like, Fortnite going full cross-platform was such a big deal. And I think it opened up other games, right? I think, is Rocket League now fully cross-play?
Yes.
I want to say. I can't think of all of them off the top of my head, but there are more games now that, because Fortnite did it, and I love how many times I get to say Fortnite on this podcast, because Fortnite did it, legitimately, it did open
Simpsons
the door for
did it.
Some of these other bigger games to move into the crossplay space. But you're going to see a lot more Xbox and Switch crossplay. You're going to see a lot more, all of those in PC crossplay. You're going to see the other three players do a lot more crossplay in the future, I suspect. Especially with smaller multiplayer games. Like, you know, there'll be Xbox Series X games that you will not want to crossplay on Switch, but like, you know, those smaller multiplayer games, those medium-sized multiplayer games, they're going to keep doing that.
Yeah,
Knockout City has full crossplay. Yes.
But yeah, that's the big thing. You're saying smaller to medium-sized, and that's it.
Yeah. And it's just like, when you've got someone like Sony who is so adverse to sharing their slice of the pie with games like that. And the reason that they're like that, the reason they were like that with Fortnite, is because when you buy items, cosmetics for that game, the game store that you buy them through gets a cut of that. So if Sony is crossplay and you're playing on Xbox to Sony and you log into your Xbox version of Fortnite and you buy Fortnite skins, Sony's not seeing that money. So like, that's part of it too. As long as you've got one of the big three players just absolutely disinterested in doing it, you're just probably not going to see it on a large scale. Kool-Aid Dat Boy. No, sorry, wrong guy. Where is it? Oh, that big Greek guy, equally good name, thankfully. Is there kind of follows this up? He asks, is there a chance EA decided to dedicate cross-platform for NHL 22 rather than FIFA, since they know the community is the smallest? And I'm guessing probably not, but that's the right thinking, I think. Like,
Yeah, right thinking, but just no. Nope. We do have some other questions. Let's see. NBA Live. No NBA Live.
Oh, Sports Video Games Daily. You did ask thoughts on OU Texas SEC expansion for college football video gaming. Just wanted to go ahead and give you the right credit for that. I couldn't remember if that was you or not. It was just further down in the comments. So.
We do have a few questions on EA and ESPN. The talks are there. There's nothing going. They're not close at all. But there's also talk that we've been hearing, myself and a couple other of my colleagues away from SGO, of ESPN maybe wanting to do their own thing. Don't know what that would involve, whether it's a mobile or console, but ESPN is looking into all options. They want their branding out there in front of younger audiences, and video games is a big way to do that. I don't think doing it on their own is the right option at this point. I think getting in with a 2K or an EA again is the best route for them, but we'll see what happens. But right now, talks aren't really there. Will National Lacrosse League ever have a lacrosse game? They've had two, NLL 09 and NLL 10 and NLL 11 on the Xbox 360, on the old Xbox Live Arcade. I actually was thinking, I was playing in the old Xbox 360 version. I might just do a video of like a retro look back for our insiders, SGO Insider, and give people a look at what that game was, like a small like retro review on SGO on sportsgamersonline.com/insider for that. I think that'd be a fun one to do.
I would like to follow up to you on this question. So the National Lacrosse League got a huge cable deal in Canada, presumably is getting one in America as well, but I don't remember if that information
not yet
has been announced. How well does that league have to do before you think that somebody tries to make that game, or do you think that happens?
Cross Studios might come out with it. They've done it before. They're the team that we've talked about Cross Studios with Casey Powell Lacrosse. They're the studio that made the lacrosse NLL games. They were the first console games that they released.
Okay.
With Carlos and Sari. They might get back into it. There's a lot of talk. The NLL is interested in getting back in the video game realm, but creating a lacrosse game similar to creating a hockey game, but then you had basketball elements to it. So it's a tough sell. Anthony Smith says NBA Street Volume 2 would be a great game for you to master. Yes, it would be, and that's kind of what I hope they do. I hope they remaster the Street game rather than come back with an all-new version. You just remaster it with modern players because you have that license. We have a little bit left in the show. I want to try and get to as many of these as possible. Again, if we don't get to them, apologize. There are a lot. If you want to guarantee it's on there, leave us a super chat and we will definitely get to it. Chances of NBA Jam coming back, I'd like it, but I don't know. Maybe we'll see if your better option is another NBA Playgrounds. That is your better chance of that in my mind.
They have the Arcade 1-Up. There's an Arcade 1-Up NBA Jam machine.
Yes, and I'm trying so hard to not spend the $400 and buy it.
I would encourage anybody who wants to buy me a late birthday present to send me NBA Jam, the 1-Up arcade machine. What consoles did NBA Jam come out on? Sega? Was that Sega?
Sega and Nintendo.
Nintendo.
There is a great book.
Super Nintendo or
yes.
Okay.
There's a great book, NBA Jam, the book. I highly recommend it. It is a guarantee. It's literally NBA Jam, the book.
Yeah, I know.
It is an incredible read. It's hard. It's by Rayan Ali. He's a great guy. I've talked to him many times. He's a good friend of mine at this point. I like to call him a friend. It's a must read. You can get it on Amazon. You can get it wherever ebooks are sold. You can get a hard copy. You can reach out to him on Twitter, NBA Jam Book. And if you buy one from him, he'll even sign it for you. So there you go. Tell him I sent you, and there's my free plug of the week.
I would say the one chance of NBA Jam coming back is that maybe they eventually add it to the Switch Online. Which would be cool because you have a lot of those games have online multiplayer, so that'd be nice.
That'd be fantastic. Will Sony make a new NBA game again? No, not going to happen. New UFC, not for another. I mean, UFC 4 just came out earlier this year or late last year. Not going to happen.
This year?
No, late last year. It's all a blur. You're looking at probably 2022 at the latest or earliest, late 2022, early 2023 for that. They like to take 2 to 3 years between games. Any news on a fight night to compete with the SBC? They're looking at it. It's still, the rumors are strong. Like, and when they're this strong, there's usually fire around this type of smoke. So it's hard not to think they do it.
I got one. Oh, sorry. I didn't know if I was
go
interrupting you.
Nope.
I was gonna say I got a question up here. Do you guys think EA will give us more customization with EA College Football 2023 than in 2014? And that's by Ray Sanga.
Yes, there'll be a lot more customization. They're not going to have an online suite from everything we're hearing. They're not going to have the team builder online because at this point, people were more mature back then than they were now. And they were not posting.
I don't know.
No, they were nowhere near as. They were nowhere near.
At all, actually,
there were nowhere near as many people thinking they can get away with the shit they put online right now, as far as with customization.
There's also more sophisticated ways to prevent that stuff now too, though. So.
Yeah, you'd think, but I do see it being much more user friendly, at least for console players. That'll be interesting. We do have a super chat from Josh Ring. Thank you, Josh, for your super chat. EA sort of recently teased the return of a long-running EA Sports title. Any word on which one? I can't imagine they were referring to Skate. What's wrong with Skate, Josh?
It might have been Skate, actually, to be honest.
It might have been.
It probably was Skate, right?
Their whole big tease was the video of we're working on it.
We're working on it. Like, leave us alone. We're doing Skate. Well, it's not like Skate. To be fair, Skate 4 is also, that was not the announcement of Skate 4 either, though. So, like,
we got Skate 4 announcement last year, but they're just calling it Skate, I guess. Yeah. We know it's Skate 4.
To Josh's point here is, I would also imagine that they weren't referring to Skate because Skate, we knew that game was coming out before they started talking about that. So
yes, as far as the long running, it's all signs pointing to a fight night. Like, that's where this biggest smoke is right now. Like, everything's pointing to that. I still think we see an arcade title return. I still think that's the first one we get announced. Any chances out of the park baseball come to consoles? No, it's not made for that. They have it on phone, they have it on mobile, and they have it on PC. NBA Live 22, yes, it's dead. NASCAR 21, we talked about that earlier. We're working on getting some exclusive stuff. We should have some reveals. Will Madden flop at $70 on next gen? No, Madden will never flop because it's too big to fail at this point as a franchise.
To clarify, I don't think it's going to get bailed out, but like, people will keep.
Oh, it gets bailed out by the people who are spending thousands and thousands of dollars.
Well, but it's also getting bailed out by the people who are upset that they keep releasing new Madden games and then they buy it in the first week. So I've got one. This is less of a question, but I wanted to address this. Marcus Moore says Derrick Henry had back-to-back rushing titles and Offensive Player of the Year, and they still put Christian McCaffrey over him when he also played 3 games last year. I think you're right. I think it's good that Christian McCaffrey is not in the 99 club anymore. I think 97 is too high. I just want to say that I agree with you.
I think Derrick Henry is overrated. Also, stiff arms for offensive players should be illegal. If they can stiff and push at face masks and it's not a penalty, yet defensive players can't put their hands on the face. Get out of here with that garbage.
Rewriting football.
Get out of here. No. If you can't play defense, no. When I played, I was a linebacker, man. You couldn't do shit. Okay. No. Defense can't do nothing. If Derrick Henry can stiff arm someone in the face, knock them down, grab their face mask, throw them, illegal hands to the face, and that's not called, then I should be able to use it as a defensive lineman and shove my face right into the face mask of the big fat center who's trying to block me. Anyway.
Speaking of Face Wilson asks, do you agree that Sega Master System has some of the greatest games ever made? I'd love to play Space Harrier right now. I like
Sega
this one
Master
because it's
System.
not about sports games.
Sega Master System is one of my favorite platforms ever. I'm trying to find one for my collection, and I'm not spending $300 right now on a Master System.
I did not have the Master System. I had Sega and Sega Channel. If you know what Sega Channel is,
that was terrible.
Not a lot of people do. I love Sega Channel. I'm a Sega Channel defender. We all have our vices. I'm one of the people who thinks the sound chip in the Sega is better than the sound chip in the Super NES, though. So.
I agree as well, though. I do agree with that. I agree with that wholeheartedly. Also, the theme song of NHL 94 on the Sega Genesis is 9,000 times better than the theme song of NHL 94 on the SNES. And if you don't believe me, well, go away. See, Paul says get an emulator. It's not the same, man. It's just not the same.
Oh, you're right, though.
Dwayne, you are welcome. You know what? You're welcome. I better be a better tackler. Listen, Mario, you're not allowed to. Get out of here. Get out of here, Mario. If that even is your real name. What Olympic event would make a good game? This is a fun one. Curling.
Sack. Do you think curling?
That's just when we sign off the air.
No, that's it. Yeah, it just cuts. I think curling would be a fun game.
There's an Xbox Live Arcade game.
I think you're right.
That I still have called curling. It was like $6 when I bought it back in like 2008, 2007, and it's I
think my real answer would just be
snowboarding.
I think like man, I don't know. I think snowboarding is cheating, but snowboarding
softball. Softball's cheating. Golf is cheating.
Softball would be fine because there's not a softball game technically, right?
Soccer would make a good game. I think he means game. Like obviously, he means things that haven't been made a game before.
Right. I think
snowboarding, skateboarding is probably out.
Yes. And I assume he doesn't mean Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games, which is a good Olympic game.
It's Mario and Sonic are the best Olympic games. The official games of the Olympics suck.
I think a really fun, a triathlon game where you have to that involves training for the triathlon might be kind of fun. Something like that. Yeah.
I wonder, you know what, this one's actually tough for me. I want a good volleyball game. There are volleyball games, but there's no good ones. And he asked what would make a good game. I think
that's a good choice too. I think that's a good choice too.
You think Joe Buck and Troy Aikman would ever be on Madden? God, I hope not. That would be the year I stop playing Madden. Let's be real. That would be the year. All right. Get out of here with that.
Yeah, that's what it takes.
Okay. Troy Aikman. Well, let's put it this way. If I ever left SGO and had to pay for Madden, I'd probably never play it. Troy Aikman being a Hall of Famer is an absolute joke. I just want to say that now.
Get out of here.
He is trash and as trash could be. When is boxing coming out? Tayshawn Johnson. I'm assuming you mean ESBC. I'm assuming you mean an ESBC, and they're still shooting for later this year.
We're overdue for Esports Boxing Club news. Speaking of,
we are still working on setting up. There's been some issues because of what they're doing behind the scenes. We've had to reschedule our planned interviews. Curtis the Natural is working on interviews with the developers, and I am working on lining up an interview for this show with Todd Grisham. And we've had to reschedule it at least half a dozen times because of what they're working on behind the scenes that we can't talk about just yet.
I got a good one I got a good last question, so I'm going to sit on it until
we do have maybe a couple more we can get to, unless you decide to just throw a ton of super chats. If you guys throw super chats, we'll stay on the air. That's how we'll stay on the air longer than what we're at. Super chats are what keep. For every super chat, you add 2 minutes to the show. Let's put it that way, because that's how long they stay up on the screen for.
Yeah, I think I'm caught up with you otherwise.
Thoughts on the IndyCar deal? I love it. I need a new IndyCar game. I love IndyCar racing, so give me it. Thoughts? Oh, I'm a big racing fan though. I'm a sim racing fan. So if there's a new racing game coming out, I'm all for it. MLB is crossplay. Yes. I don't know how. I think that was MLB itself forcing that hand. The only reason MLB The Show is on Xbox is because MLB itself, the licensing was coming up, and MLB was threatening to strip it. MLB was threatening to not renew unless Sony did something, and this was Sony's reaction to it.
Huh.
Are the graphics in NBA 2K22 better than NBA 2K21? Next gen, yes.
We're getting to that point, though.
We're getting to the point where graphics are graphics.
Yeah.
They said EA Big is coming back. We said EA Big is likely coming back. And it's not necessarily they're going to call it EA Sports Big. It's that they're going to look to do slot games similar to that lineup. So they have the license Super Mega Baseball. They own Metalhead Software now. They have that code where they can do something of an EA Sports Big lineup with that arcade yet simulation style gameplay and art design and things like that. Under that sort of license. Any new NFL 2K news? No, they're nothing. What do you think of FIFA 22 so far? From what I played of the beta, it's not. I like it. It's FIFA though. It's FIFA. The hypermotion technology, I needed more time than what I got in order to tell whether it's good or not. Forza Horizon 5. I agree, Adrian. Can't wait for. I'm a big Forza fan. Tony,
Justin's question is what I want to say for last. By the way, he asked it again, but I have it saved.
Okay, Justin, we will get to your question. That will be the last question we get to of the night. When's next gen dropping? PS6 before or after 2026? You're not going to see the PS6 until at least 2028. Plain and simple. And you'll probably get GTA 6 sometime after that. Because PS6 is probably coming out before that. Tony B23, I like hearing Tony Romo on broadcast, but in Madden it would be rough because the defense would know every play you run when Romo calls it out before the play. It's his thing. Man, there's boss mode in the gauntlet. It's Tony Romo predicting your plays in the gauntlet. There you go.
It does take away a little bit of Tony Romo's magic when he is
wrong.
No, because he's not wrong, but like when he's psychomanticing your plays because you're putting it into the game he's pretending to speak in, it takes a lot of the magic of him predicting the play. So
absolutely amazing. Which one is Madden's theme? CBS, Fox? Neither. None of them. Madden has its own theme, and if you want a great Madden theme, go look at Madden 97's theme. That is an incredible version. Will there ever be another NHRA game? Maybe not. Romo would piss us off eventually. Dwayne, we appreciate your time for hanging out. Now, let's see which you want to go. Justin's question.
Can we do,
or do you have one? Do you have any before that?
Well, Eric Herrera asked one that I think is interesting, and I want to see if he meant never or if he meant ever. What's y'all's favorite game of all time that you have never played? And I don't know if he's still here. If you want to clarify
answer this.
that.
I mean, if it's never, there are games where I've never played, but I've watched.
Oh yeah, me too.
I like the cutscenes.
Yeah.
Favorite game I've never played.
I know mine, but I want you to go first.
This is tough, man.
Okay,
you might have to go first because I'm debating between three.
He meant never played. My favorite game of all time that I've never played is Batman Arkham Asylum. Love that game. Have watched people play that game so much. Have listened to all of the files around Batman Arkham Asylum. Just don't ever want to hold the controller and do it.
No, for me, Batman, I like the Batman games, but he takes up too much of the screen that it bothered me too much. He takes up half of it. This is tough, man. This is really, really tough. What game, the best game that I've never played?
Counter-Strike's up there for me too.
I hate Counter-Strike. I'm a masochist.
I love watching people play Counter-Strike.
Me too. I've played it, so I can't. The original Fallout.
Yeah?
Never played
Fallout
the original
1?
Fallout.
Okay.
Yeah. Never played the original Fallout. I've watched people play it and it looks so interesting, but I don't have the time in my life to dedicate to it. It's a very fun. Justin says he's never played a Halo game. You're not missing much. It's Halo. Halo 1 was Halo 1 and 2 would be the only two I recommend. Halo 1 was something different though. But Halo 1, I think it's more nostalgia. because I just remember LAN parties and system links. And they did something like with the coloring, you can easily spot enemies and stuff like that. And then it just got dulled down and muddied. Kevin Corcoran, dude, I'm sorry. It's late. It's almost 10 o'clock. I'm playing CSGO as I watch you guys. Good. I hope you're winning. Josh Ring, Last of Us. This is actually a good one. Best game you've never played. I'd like to see this before we get to the final question.
Good one too.
Last of Us 1 and 2. Last of Us Part 2 I did not like. Uncharted, this could have been it, but I finally had played it once the Nathan Drake collection came out. All right. Last God of War 1 and 3. God of War is fantastic. God of War.
A lot of God of Wars.
Yeah. It's a great game. It's just people just didn't have PlayStations, I guess. All right. Last question from Justin Stevens. Which game comes out first? Skate 4, AEW, college football, or new EA Sports game? AEW.
You think?
AEW. I'd put that at a 75 to 80% chance.
When do you think AEW drops? End of next year?
I think so. My biggest thing is, will they hold off of it until 2023? Simply because if it's ready, say, by the fall of 2022, WWE usually releases around then, unless WWE literally decides they're going to skip next year, and then AEW has a fall to themselves. But I'm going to say AEW will be the first one to come out.
That was my instinct, but I think it depends on what the new sports game is. I think there's a chance that if new sports game is Fight Night, it's AEW, because I don't think we see Skate 4 until 23. We're not seeing college football until 23. I don't think we see I think we see Fight Night in next year if it's Fight Night, but I don't think we see it before AEW. I think if new sports game is NBA Street, it's that. I think if it's Fight Night, then it's the AEW game.
Yeah, I can agree. If it's Fight Night, yeah. If it's NBA Street or if it's Super Mega Football, whatever they decide to do in that lineup, I could see that. Super Mega Football or Super Mega Basketball would be so much fun. But, guys, thank you. That is where we're going to end it this week. Thank you for tuning in to the SGO Press Pass. As always, you can find us on social media at Mike Straw Media or at TH3 Composer. For Jake, I'm Mike. Subscribe at Sports Gamers Online, youtube.com/SportsGamersOnline. Follow us at Twitter/SportsGamersOn, Facebook.com/SportsGamersOnline. Until next time, we'll see you in the SGO Discord. We're out.
Peace out.